Okay, well, we will call this budget hearing to order at 5:10 PM. And I will ask for a motion to approve budget hearing agenda.
Wow, I so moved. And I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a
Only part of us
second.
here.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Then we will open the public hearing.
Adjourn.
Sorry,
You need to adjourn the hearing.
No, we have to have the budget hearing.
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to open the public hearing on the 2025-2026 budget. And so I'll turn this over to Sherry to open it.
Okay, so a copy of the board of the approved budget, I believe, was shared with them with you, and we haven't made any changes. Thanks for the approval that we got on the proposed budget. And I also have a copy of the budget resolution there for you if you approve the budget and adopt it. We have the paperwork ready for you to sign off.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Sure.
Does anyone have questions for Sherry on the budget?
Tired of hearing Sherry.
Okay.
Any
And
public-
right, during this public hearing that we have the opportunity for the public to give comment on the proposed budget. Do we have any public comment? We have one person in the room.
And his
Welcome.
hands over his mouth, so.
Yeah, welcome Pat Ryan in the room. Anybody online? All right, hearing none, I will close the public hearing at 5:12 PM and adjourn the budget hearing. So I'll need a motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion to adjourn. And I second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Or
Okay,
Mary.
yes, thank you. Okay. So now we will move into the regular TBCC board meeting and it's noticed for 5:30. So do we think there's any issue with opening it early? No, okay, all right. Then let's open the TBCC board meeting at 5:13 and call it to order. Acknowledge our guest, Pat Ryan, who will soon be a member of the board. Congratulations on your. And move right into the consent agenda. So have we had a chance to look over the agenda? Right?
I thought your minutes were very detailed and good. I'm very thorough.
Thanks.
I like yours.
I second that comment because I was reading, I wasn't trying to find errors. But beautifully written and, yeah, very complete. Thank you. Yeah.
Chat helped a little.
Wow. Thank you for your honesty.
It was a group effort.
Okay, well, if we don't have any questions or changes to either the May 7 or May 23rd board meeting minutes for those two meetings, we can move right into the personnel report.
Right, so. Other job. Okay, for the Dean of Instruction recruitment, we have had 2 on-campus interviews last week or 2, and we've selected a finalist. And her name is Rochelle Mills. So she will be starting June 30th. And she comes from Roseburg area, so she's from Oregon, and we're very excited to have her join us. The full-time math faculty position is in the middle of the interview process. And we have extended on-site, on-campus interview invitations to 2 candidates. So those will be next week. Interviews will be next week. And now that we've finalized the Dean of Instruction, then we'll look at the Vice President of Instruction again to see what we want to do with that. So really short one this time.
Okay. And in the meantime, we have Mr. Weisenflu in the interim position. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just stand off yourself.
I was hiding that really.
Stand on table. Literally indeed.
Okay. Well, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I so move. You approve the consent agenda.
We have a
Come
motion.
on, Mary, you
Do we
can
have a
second. All right, I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you. We have an invitation for public comment available at the beginning of the meeting as an opportunity for the public to comment on any issue within the jurisdiction of the Tillamook Bay Community College Board of Education. Do we have any public comment this evening?
Bad.
From me.
Okay, hearing none, we will move into new business and 4A, the adoption of the budget and resolution authorization. Karen.
We would like to ask the board to accept the resolution of adoption, and I don't know if I should wait right now for you to discuss and get a vote, or the paperwork is in front of you. I'm sure Kylie has shared that with the board prior to this meeting. So if you had a chance to look at it and make a decision, we would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, as CFO One Hazard mentioned, we haven't made any changes to the budget since approved by the budget committee.
Okay. So we will take these one at a time. I would entertain a motion to adopt the 2025-2026 budget.
I so move to adopt 2025-26 budget. That's right.
Nice seconds.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Would you like to discuss this at all?
I don't believe so.
Okay, Andrew? No. Mary? All right, hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Great.
The second resolution is making appropriations. So can we just make a motion? I'm asking Paul or Sherry, can we just make a motion to make appropriations, or do we need to spell them out?
I think
Okay,
it's good to have them read into record what they are.
okay, I don't have them in front of me.
All right.
We don't need to. Okay.
No, I don't have them in front of me.
Oh, we have them. Then you can just make a motion to
They're all made in one motion.
make appropriations. Yes, okay. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So in that case, I would entertain a motion to make appropriations.
I so move to make appropriations.
I second.
Oh, welcome, Suzanne. Glad to have you.
We have no anything.
We are on item 4A, the second resolution for making appropriations, and you are muted. Okay, do we have a second? Make appropriation.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on this item?
No.
All right. Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
Aye.
Mary, I didn't see you or hear you. Sorry.
Oh, I said aye.
Thank you. Okay, motion passes. All right, then we'll move on to the third resolution. I will entertain a motion to impose and categorize taxes. Someone will have to move them.
Yeah. So we just.
To impose and categorize taxes.
Okay, right. And I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on imposing and categorizing taxes?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I.
Aye.
I think Suzanne is muted, but she must.
Okay, all right,
If
thank
she
you.
nods.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, then we're going on to 4B, which is budget appendices fiscal year 2025-2026. I'll turn it back over to Sherry.
So as it was approved by the board, we adjusted the salary schedule to have the 3% step increase between the steps and also 3% cost of living adjustment. And I believe those were also shared with you. It's harder when you don't have hard copies to see if you have it in front of you or not, but I believe they were shared with you.
They were.
So you did have it. Okay, good. I didn't know what was shared, how it was shared. So we did the same thing for all the faculty and for the staff. And those schedules have been shared. I will for the benefits, we again with the board approval, we increased the both the health insurance and also for the opt-out, we increased both of those. And again, they should be reflected in the document that is in front of you. I will ask Paul if that's okay, if you can talk about the changes for the adjunct faculty salaries.
Yeah, sure. So likewise, so over the past 2 or 3 years, we've been attempting to catch our adjunct faculty pay scales up to what's a little bit more in line with what we see across the state.
Okay.
We previously had a 7-tier step or columns, if you will, on here. And we have over the past 2 years, each year removed the lowest tier and shifted everybody up. So basically what is tier 1 right now was the tier 3 2 years ago. So we've really been trying to push them towards the upper end. And what that does is that allows someone to be able to move through the tiers faster and to get to the top tier. And in addition to that, we have applied COLA to this salary schedule as well. We applied 3% COLA this year, like we did with everybody else. The past 2 years, we disproportionately added more. Again, just trying to increase. I still think there's some room to make, but we have made some advances that I think are good and allowing us to retain some adjunct faculty a little bit better than we did before. The rest of the non-regular faculty and instruction services pay remains roughly about the same. No changes to the non-credit adjunct instruction schedule. There's been no changes to the other faculty pay schedules either that are on the second page of Appendix C3 here. These are just extra pay that we give for doing something additional outside of their normal assignment. And then, of course, we also have professional tutors and classroom assistants, and they are paid based upon their degrees that they might have and qualifications, and those hourly rates are listed there as well. So that's basically it, just application of the COLA to the pay scales, and again, just trying to remain competitive so that we can retain our adjunct faculty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think if it's the board's pleasure, I think we can take all of these items 1 through 5 together and just entertain a motion to approve budget appendices fiscal year 2025 to 2026.
I move. And I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on any of the appendices?
Sounds really good. I wish I was still teaching here now.
Hard.
Too soon.
All right, if we don't have any discussion, I will call for the vote to approve budget dependencies. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I.
I.
All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry, and thanks for all your work on this budget.
Yeah, the team effort and we are very grateful to the support and approving.
We're grateful for
You
your work.
deserve it.
Yes. Labor of love, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's wait till next week.
It's her paycheck, she may love that.
Okay, let's move on to item C, which is board policy 3720, computer and network use. This is the second read.
Yep, thank you. This is, we have not made any changes since the first reading you saw at the last meeting. This is, as you know, we're in the process of updating our policies and procedures to be in line with those that are part of the OCCA library. And our executive director of information technology, Cheryl New, took the crack at this one. So if you have any questions about this, she's over there and can address them, but it's pretty high level, straightforward. Much of the meat that will be in the regulations and rules around this will be in the procedure. So as we do the administrative rule, that will contain the operational, how do we implement this particular policy?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a second reading. We've had a chance to review it previously, unchanged since then.
I move that we accept the BP 3720 computer and network use policy.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item?
Thank you to Cheryl.
Yes.
Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Great.
Oh, we are just cruising on this
This is
agenda.
different from last month's board meeting.
Yeah.
They all have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, item 5 is information only items. I don't see an ASTBCC.
Studying for finals.
Oh, good for them.
No one wants to have to skip graduation.
No, and we wouldn't want them to. Okay, so we can move right into the construction update with Jason.
Great, thank you. Busy month, very busy month. So HEB building, a couple major milestones. If you drive down 3rd Street, you can see our copper penny roof is now being installed, which you can visually see the roof. Work continues on the exterior envelope, mainly with siding and the weather barrier. Big accomplishment this week was our first piece of glass was installed. So we had a tour prior to the board meeting, got to see our first piece of glass. Very exciting. A lot of it.
You see, I mean, you could literally, if you didn't look hard, you could see right through it.
See right there. It'll never be that clean again. But a lot of little tiny things have been going on. A lot of procurement. Executive Director New has been securing all technology, everything from phones to network interfaces, switches. We've been trying to get everything on order. Safety systems, our Visiplex system. Mechanical, so electrical, plumbing, and HVAC are probably 95% complete. So by I would anticipate probably mid-July to end of July, they'll start finishing. So all our technical systems will be installed and a lot of the fit finish, the fun stuff starts. We had a great meeting for furnishings. So our FF&E, we had a great group that looked at office equipment, ergonomics, desks, chairs. We had a bunch of chairs brought to campus for staff and faculty to fit test. That was all very successful. We should finalize all our furnishings and have them ordered by the end of this week, which is very exciting. Landscaping has started, so we've been talking with nurseries all throughout the state. They're narrowing down to a lot of our trees. We have quite a few trees of size, 3 inch or larger. So they're sourcing all those. They'll be tagged in nurseries for a small group to go inspect and select all the trees. Very big milestone. We also had our first meeting with a branding company that's looking at monument signs, wayfinding, building identification, restroom signs, which is very exciting because that's kind of kicks off the discussions about applying our beautiful logo and branding to our building, not only our building, but we're looking at a partner that can brand all of our buildings on campus. So CIT, PRI, this building during the remodel as well as HEB. So that was a great meeting. So that's HEB. If there's any questions there, I'm happy to answer them. Couple other big things is, so there's a lot of activity on the main building. We have secured a painter to refinish the exterior of this building. So they've started to power wash in preparation of painting, as well as refinishing the tremendous amount of woodwork that is on this building. So all the beams, all the soffits that are woodwork are all being sanded down, restained. All the metal work is being repainted. So that project kicked off this week. So there'll be quite a few people working on the building for the next probably 45 days. And that is to get this building looking nice and shiny to match the brand new one next door. Which is exciting. The CIT building, we are currently we are currently issued a notice to proceed. The contracts are being reviewed. We anticipate those being signed this week. A lot of preparation, so we expect to see visual impact of start on CIT probably in the next 2 weeks. We've had many meetings with ATK, which is the contractor that was awarded that. And so they are ready to go. So it should happen fast, and that'll be exciting to see more activity on 3rd Street. Yeah, so that's my report.
Thank you.
If there's any questions? I also love to have a tour. We have a meeting in July. I think there'll be a lot to see in July. So if the board wants to meet prior to and go on a tour, I'd love to take you out.
Yeah, great.
Picnic on the plaza.
Picnic on the plaza.
We could have had cheese and crackers out there today.
No more cheese. A little busy.
All right, anything for Jason? Thank you for all your work.
And it is just a comment. I mean, the amount of behind the scenes work that goes into managing all of this, even though we do have Winnahaw Group that as our owner's rep helping the project management. Jason's just burning the candle at both ends, it
Yeah.
seems, and has done a spectacular job. There's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm very fortunate to have him on board to shepherd all that through.
Truly, it's a cool job. When I was just remembering that when I started as a journalist, my very first job was, this will be a short story, I promise. It was as an education correspondent, and I was reporting on a brand new K-8 school.
Okay.
So I got to follow the whole process of the school construction, the bond in the first place, and then the construction. So I became friends with the superintendent, and I was amazed when I talked to him about, how does this actually work? Like, how do you bring something this big in on time and under budget? And he laid out all the plans for me, which was pages and pages of huge plans, table-sized plans. And he went to the end and he said, well, you start from the end, you understand every step from the beginning to the end, and then you work backwards. Like, this is where you need to finish. And these are all the steps that it takes to get here. And these are all the prices that it takes to get here. And these are all the subs that it takes to get here. And so you start from the beginning and move backwards and understand it, control every step of the way so that you get there on time and under budget. And I was fascinated by that. And just all of the information that you hold in your head and all of the relationships that you're juggling in order for that to happen. So bravo.
We have a great team too. I mean, we have phenomenal people that are working on all our projects. It's very exciting.
We had to buy Jason blackout curtains for his house because he goes to bed and home goes to bed about 7:30.
There are days, yes. It's good. We're making great progress. I truly believe the finished product will be phenomenal. It's gonna be good.
How do you know how many nails to order for a building that size?
Luckily, I just said a lot. It's just a lot. Well, screws are a different topic. I have about 6 different samples on my desk right now.
Don't get him started on the screws.
Yeah, that's a-
Back a box of them that were stainless steel, but rusty.
Let's just say there's.
I don't know how that.
He sent rustable screws to the coast and we had to deal with that. Needless to say, that was dealt with.
As I was driving in tonight, I looked at the two buildings and I thought, are they both, when it's finished, when our building over there is finished, is it going to look similar to this building?
Same colors.
And that's already been planned. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, okay.
So like, for example, they just started staining a lot of the woodwork on the new building, which
Yeah.
matches all the woodwork on this building.
Great,
The
okay,
paint palettes will be the same, our roofs are the same.
great.
And the architects did a great job of bringing aspects of all of our buildings together.
Uh-huh.
So on the new building, it'll have a 2-panel design that are 2-tone painted to mimic this building, which this building is a concrete building. Is why that's why there's a 2-tone look. It's in the concrete panels. So they designed the new building to reflect that.
Okay.
So they should, I mean, it's going to be a newer building, but you will be able to tell they were designed together.
Yeah.
Great.
We're starting to see some of those elements with, like, for example, the woodwork. And now that the roof is going on, I feel when you come down Third Street, not only these two, but PRI and CIT all have the same elements
Great.
designed into them.
Oh, it's
So the new project for CIT will have the same woodwork accents, some of the copper penny roof.
Mhm.
So you'll be able to tell, it'll feel like a campus. That is our goal.
Great.
So
Like, it's
exciting.
totally, coming down Third Street, it's Tillamook Bay Community College campus. That's our goal.
Exciting.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, move on to the financial report.
Yeah, so I will tie my report to what Jason was just reporting. So on the finance part aspect of it, it seems like at this point that we may need about $250,000 to $300,000 more than what we have budgeted originally for the project. Cash wise, we are doing okay. We haven't gone over the budget yet. We still have about $5 million left from the 15. And we haven't started digging into the 8, which of course we don't have the entire 8. We have 4.8 that we have $4.8 million that we have received. And I think I project that by the end of the year, we should have $6 million this fiscal year received completely out of the 8. And so far we have billed 5.4. So everything seems like we are on the schedule. The short part that I just talked about, that $250,000-ish that we think we will be short. We think there is enough interest that we should be able to cover that. There is a lot of interest that will definitely cover this $250,000, but I am working with some bond attorneys on the arbitrage to see how much of that money we can spend and how much of it we have to send to IRS. So I'm pretty sure we will have more than what we need to finish this project just in the interest that we accumulated. But I don't wanna put my name on it yet because I need the attorneys to go over it and use their more sophisticated software to do the calculation for us. But other than that, cash wise, we're doing okay. We have the money to cover our expenses. Usually we spend about roughly about $1.5 million per month recently. And of that, a big chunk of it is the $1.1 million for obsessed, am I right?
Kirby.
Yes, yes, sorry, yes. When we finish this project, I'll learn the names of
Line.
Chinese. Yeah, so, but we've been good. We've been on time with receiving the invoices and processing them and making payments.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So the 250,000 that you project we will be short, is that's not covered in contingency?
Correct, the contingency, basically it's addition to the expense side of the contingency. We think we need another $250,000 to $300,000. We may or we may not need it, but as of now, we think we will need it. So it's not in the budgeted, the original budget that we had. But one way or another, definitely, I think we have it in the interest that we pay. But even if not, that we do have the money to cover it and completely finish the project. But I just want to wait till I have my meeting with the bond attorneys to say that we have that or more or less. But I'm pretty confident that we do have it in the interest. Did I answer your question?
It does, and I hope that's true. If indeed we end up needing to use that money, can you educate the board on the reason? Not tonight, but if we have to use an additional 250,000.
Sure.
Please just help us understand why.
Sure. And it's going to be a joint presentation because Jason actually would be the expert on why we need that. But I'm happy to team and have that presentation for the board. Sure.
Okay.
We can do that. The short answer is that we under budgeted in permitting fees based upon Tillamook City and County rates relative to what our project managers have been used to working in Portland area and whatever, where we actually have higher rates here than they have in Tillamook County, for example. And then unexpected issues that came up as we actually got into the ground and started working in the ground. That's where most of our overruns from what we had budgeted came from those two areas. The good thing is, as Sherry mentioned, we have earned and will earn a significant amount of interest on the bond funds and the match funds from the state. Laws of we're only allowed to use, we can't make money off of county of taxpayers' money, right? So we didn't budget, we were conservative in what we budgeted for our interest initially. So we feel that there's still probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest that we probably can apply to either this project or another project. But we just don't know that until we get the final work, the attorneys.
Yeah, we roughly budgeted 500,000, I think it was 550, that we budgeted originally from the interest to go into the project. This is something that I did as of the end of, I believe, April, and the total earnings on the interest was $1.3 million, so more than double of that. The thing is, so the earning has been at a rate of 4.8%. And I think, no, I don't think because it's in front of me, the allowable rate was 3.98. So we're roughly about 1% more than, and I believe, based on my research, that's the 1% that we have to give back. It's not going to be more than that. But these are all my research, and I don't claim that I'm an expert in arbitrage calculation. And we don't have the right software, right? Because the earnings are not always the same flat percentage that I calculated my numbers based on. So pretty soon we should have good answers because we have contracted with the arbitrage attorney to help us figure out these numbers a little bit better. So my point is that even without being an arbitrage attorney, you can see that there is a lot of money. That's how I think that we're going to have that $250 million if we end up needing it. But I will have a more certain answer for you as soon as I have that meeting done.
Okay. And thereafter, would you also just give this board a little primer, not tonight, but when you get that information on arbitrage, just in case everybody doesn't fully understand it?
Sure. I can do that too.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's a very complex, my brain.
Okay.
I can't even say the word.
Anything else here?
So with that, I think if there aren't any other questions on the bond and the building, I can move to the regular financial report that I give for the general fund monthly to the board. So in your packet, there was a financial report for April because of the timing of the when we have the board meeting and the time prior to that, that we share the packet, usually I'm 1 month behind because the immediate, like for example, in this case, May wasn't ready. We weren't even done with May when this got shared with you. But I went ahead and I added May for tonight. But I'm gonna start with April. Are you on April or are you on May? If you don't mind, let's start with April. And this is what you have, so I think it would be better to start with this because you have it in front of you or you study it, and if you have questions, probably it's better to start with April. In April, we completed 83.33% of the year. Paula and I were talking about something this afternoon, and we were talking about the percentage. When I say this percentage of the year, it's just a made up based on the month. Each month out of the 12 months of the year is 8.33%. So if it's 2 months, it's going to be double. It's going to be 16.66%. But it's not really meaningful other than this is what portion of the year that has been completed, right? Because even we all know that we don't spend the same amount of money. Even our salaries are not the same in every month of the year because of having the faculty and being on a different schedule. But I use that for like a basis to talk about, okay, we're doing better or we're doing worse. I'm not gonna go over the stuff that have been the same for a few months now, like for example, the beginning fund balance. I've given explanation why it is where it is. But the state, we still expect one more payment. We haven't received that yet. That's the one that usually comes in July and we book it in the prior year. Some other colleges have an issue with that. We don't like it either. We like to have that money and interest on it or use it. But some other colleges are more dependent on it because they don't have the savings that we have. So we can pay our bills, and when the money comes in, we take care of the booking. But if you don't have the money to pay your bills, receiving it later for expenses that you're having today is harder on them. We are fortunate we are not in that boat and we don't have to be worried about it. But there is one more payment that is supposed to come in. We received the majority of our property tax that we budgeted, but not quite all of it. And I don't expect that we're going to get to the 100% because we received most of it already. So probably it's not going to be more than 95% of what we budgeted. But because of the receiving the more revenues in other areas, more than what we budgeted, it puts us in a good place. So basically, as of the end of April, we received 94% of what we budgeted for revenue, and that's a good place to be, especially because of that $1.2-ish million that we have received from the state. On the expense side, we've done better than expected. Again, everything under 83.33, I call it better because it's less. But the one place that you will see that we spend more than 100% is the transfers. So at the beginning of the year, when we do the budget, you're familiar with that. We bring a schedule of transfers. This is what we're going to transfer from this fund to that fund, and what is the reasons, and we approve them. But there is one piece in there that is basically a budgeted amount, and that is the PERS debt service. That happens, majority of it happens in the general fund, and small percentages are coming from other funds if we have any payroll in those other funds. So we basically make an educated guess. And then if the salaries go up, if we hire more people or less people, if we lose people and we're not filling the positions right away, that can fluctuate. So the difference that is happening here is all because of that. It's because of the PERS appropriation that we just projected. It's not a so looking at this, it shows that at 83.33% of the year, we have $2.7 million left from what we budgeted and what we spent, what we the revenue that we received and what we spent afterward. So I went ahead and added May yesterday because the month was completed, and I thought it was good for the board to see that, because you're not gonna see any more reports till September, I believe, which is gonna be the new year. It's gonna be FY 26. So now Cheryl has the May up there. Yes, thank you very much, Cheryl. So May is 91.67% of the year completed. You see the difference is that 8.33 that June is left. So when you look at the revenues and expenses, again, the same stuff. I'm not going to repeat too much. I don't want to bore you with more details. But basically, we finished the month of May with 94.61% of our revenue actualized, and 77% of the budgeted expenses we have spent. That would leave us 2.18%.
I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong thing.
What do you say with on that?
And still in your mood.
Sorry. Not to be done.
I enjoy it.
Break it. I'm sorry.
I'm not
The leadership team is sitting there like, oh, here we go again. 3 months, I just play with that. Your father.
Yeah, so that was a sign that I should stop talking. But I'm not gonna pay attention to signs. So, the important thing that I want to point out for the board and make sure that you are aware of what's going on is that we have roughly about $2.2 million left. In June, we're gonna have 2 payrolls. Each gross payroll runs about $500,000, 487-ish, and 487,000-ish. So we have in June at least $1 million for the payroll expenses. And then also we're gonna have other expenses. I'm not saying it's happening here, but normally in my life as a CFO or some kind of financial administrator, sometimes the budget managers, when they have a little bit of money left from their budget, and I'm gonna say this, that sometimes they save it and say, okay, let's see if we have money, so then we can make that purchase. So in general, we spend about $250,000 per month on other expenses other than the payroll. I'm expecting in June, it may be a little bit larger, but it may be around that amount of money. The point that I'm trying to make is that I already mentioned that we haven't received one payment from the state, because that's gonna happen in July, and it's over $1 million. So in my accounting mind is setting that aside for the 2 payroll that we have in June, and then plus a few $100,000 for other expenses that we have. That would put us between $1.8 to $2 million of savings ending fund balance, which is going to be the beginning fund balance for the next year. And what we have budgeted is 1.65. So I'm excited because that means we're going to be ahead of the game. So we're going to start the year with more than what we thought we're going to start the year. But that's me being conservative and trying to make sure that my boss doesn't see too much money and decide to spend it. So I showed him blessing. So that's for that. And then also because I am looking at all the funds and all the expenses that we foresee. I sometimes forget to look at the Zoom people and board members. Usually I look at all the funds and constantly look at the expenditures, looking at the revenue coming in, and I do similar analysis for all those other funds as well. But because anytime that I get some tips or some feeling that board may be interested to know more about something, I try to make sure that in my next report address that. One of the things that was mentioned was because of the money that we are budgeting for next year to spend in the buildings, remodeling this building and the CIT, one of the concerns was the timber, money that we have, and we're spending, basically, we're planning to spend a bunch of it next year. The one thing that I thought were worth mentioning is that we usually receive a big payment for timber tax, you know that, in May. And we received that, it was over $200,000. So far in FY 25, we received $370,000 of timber tax. Because of what I just explained to you when I was talking about the May and what I am seeing happening, I don't think I'm gonna need to transfer the budgeted $430,000 that was in the FY 25 budget that we were gonna transfer from timber tax fund into the general fund. That's not gonna happen. We don't need to do that. With a good start like what I'm expecting right now, I don't think we need to touch that money next year either, I hope. So that's one thing that helps us keep that balance at a reasonable rate. The other thing is that with this payment, it puts us as a beginning fund balance for the timber tax fund of $5.4 million. And I'm not gonna do the transfer for this year. So we're gonna start the year with $5.4 million. And we budgeted 5.14, I believe. So that's also a $200,000 head start, which I'm happy. I love money. What can I do? See, you have more, I get more excited. So that's something that I thought probably the board would like to hear about. So with that, I think I'm gonna conclude my report unless you guys have any questions for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for talking to us
Yeah.
about that. It is reassuring. And I very much appreciate that you come back the following month answering questions that we asked in the previous month. So thank you. It's very reassuring and full credit to you because when we talked about that several months ago, you said, I hope we won't have to spend this. I don't think we'll have to spend this, but I don't know yet. And you were right. And I'm reassured.
Yeah, I try to be careful because I don't have enough institutional history for this place. And that comes with years. So I still don't have a good gauge of the expenses and what kind of expenses. So I'm relying on the reports and putting the data and compare to the, prior year. And, in this case, some of the prior years, I can't really rely on the data because of the issues that were going on and the cleaning that need to happen. So it makes it a little bit harder. And I don't like to be wrong, so I usually say it carefully. But yes, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any questions for Sherry?
You've had an amazing year from when you
Yes.
started. I mean, things have changed a lot thanks
Yes.
to you and
Yes, sure.
and your team.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, before we jump into the president's report, would you mind if I ask Britta something?
Certainly.
Britta, I saw some great news on Facebook, which is rare. So I wonder if you would share that with us.
Talking about a large gift.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna bring that, I was gonna ask to talk about that at the end, but yes, so the foundation has received the largest gift in the history of the foundation of a new endowment for, that will be called the Richard and Virginia White Educational Fund, just over $773,000.
Great.
Yes, so very exciting. This was one of those things that you hear about at development conferences, that secret pot of money that falls into your lap that you don't know anything about, but that is truly what happened here. We reached out to John Carnahan, Connie Green, that we didn't have any documentation. It was truly a great surprise that I thought was a scam at first. When a lawyer called me and said, hey, we have money for you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll see it when the check gets here. And then, a year and a half later, we did receive it. And the lawyer did call and asked if 600,000-ish was enough to start an endowment, which is $25,000. And I said, yes, it is. And then we got a check for over $773,000.
That's fabulous.
Yeah,
Great
Yeah,
news.
very exciting, very
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, thank you to the Whites.
I know, I know.
Are they
Well,
local folks? Where
Yeah,
are they
local folks, so they lived on the Cormick Loop. Donna Kaiser, the trustee, lives in Bend now, and we will be interviewing her to do a story in our next foundation newsletter. But yeah, they, fond supporters of education, both Richard and Virginia went to Lewis and Clark College, but they knew that this kind of a gift, just transformational for
Yeah.
an institution of our size. So they wanted to give it to us so we can change our lives.
Fabulous.
Does he have a business in this area or something?
Not that I'm aware of, but I've only had minimal conversations with Donna, so I will find out more. All I know is they used to live on the Cormick Loop. Richard was in a branch of the military, and then they retired to Bend several decades ago.
It's just fabulous.
So yeah,
Richard was on the city council with me at one point in time.
Oh, is that right?
that's where I found his name in old minutes.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah.
And were there any restrictions, or did they direct us like
Very,
scholarship? Or?
all to start an endowed scholarship. So it is as flexible as we can be. So supporting half-time, full-time, any field of study, covering all types of expenses. It should generate approximately just under between $30,000 and $40,000 a year for student scholarships based on what our current endowment payout rate is. So
That's amazing.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Great
Wow.
news.
Yeah,
What a
very
blessing.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for sharing the good news.
So, yeah.
Way to catch it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you?
Well, I can't top that. But I want to try to tie together, I think, a few of the comments here, because I think that this shows something, right? I mean, one of the things, so let me first talk about the good financial news, right? I mean, we're in a good place financially, I would say operationally, financially, because of Sherry, her leadership in the business office and being able to produce some things. While the fact that we have good ending fund balances and beginning fund balances is all good news, that does come at a cost, right? Because most of the savings are due to salary savings, right? That we have unfilled positions. And that is a cost to the institution, and does put extra burden on other individuals when, we're picking up some of that work that's not getting done because we're not fully staffed up.
Yeah.
But I think if I can tie it into some other things, making progress in the business office. Britta's humble, while she might not have had to work really hard for this particular donation, right? It's just paying off for the hard work of building a good team and having a good operation anyhow. So I told her she's supposed to say she worked really hard for it.
A year and a half of work
You
and
tell them, right? I waited a year and a half, I waited a year and a
I
half
had
for this to come.
to make sure I wasn't getting scammed. It wasn't a phishing thing that IT's throwing out. Yeah.
But we're working really hard to build a good team, and I think trying to create an environment that when we recruit good folks, they want to stay, and we recognize that with salary increases where we can and whatever, because it really is meaningful, and we all sit around and talk about what a transformative time it is to be here, to go from, not that there was anything less than about the institution prior, but to be able to see the transformations that are occurring both physically and then programmatically here over the past few years. It's really, I've spent 35 years in higher education, and it's transformative for me to be able to do this. So I feel very fortunate to work with such a good team. And I just mentioned a few of them, but they're all really good there. So I appreciate all of them. As far as my report, enrollment, for this year, 24-25, it looks like we're on track to be, the last report Director McCarley gave me was right around 590, but being the good employee she is, I'm sure she can find 10 FTE out there somewhere, so we can hit 600.
I am turning over rugs and.
Yeah, there's a couch cushion for FTE.
Yeah, that's Joanne on the case. What's that?
Some of the Y classes are out.
Yeah,
We're-
So
we're doing
what's
we
the
can.
number, 500?
590.
We're at 590.
But to give you, I mean, we hit, I remember my first month here, we had celebrations because we had cookies with the number 500 on
For
them.
sure.
Because we hit 504, I believe it was in 21-22. So just think of that over the period of 3 years, right? That amount of increase
Dramatic.
is pretty dramatic. And it's in programming that is really impactful for the community. So we're pretty excited about that. Whether we hit 600 or not, doesn't matter. That's only a number, but we are making a difference for those full-time equivalent students that are out there.
And with the 10 or 11-ish year history on the board, I can tell you there were many years where we thought we'd never hit 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really remarkable.
Yeah, I've been telling my colleague up at Clatsop, watch out.
What they're enrolled, do you know what they're enrolled?
They're in the high 800s. They used to be in the 1200,
Right,
1300
wow.
range, but they got hit hard with COVID and some other issues there.
Lots
So
of-
they're rebuilding, and I think they're on a better path now. So I don't, it's not that we'll catch them, and I don't really care, but it's just kind of fun to think about that.
Yeah.
The important thing is that we're offering the right programs for the students that can break some sort of cycle in their lives, and I feel pretty good about that. You heard from Jason all about HEB and CIT, so I don't need to comment much about that other than, we're just excited to be building something here for the community. The Dean of Instruction, I couldn't be happier with the candidate that accepted our position. Rochelle Mills is her name, as Kylie mentioned. She's Executive Director of, I don't know, it's almost as long as Britta's title. But basically she's over enrollment, enrollment management, scheduling, things like that. She's also their accreditation liaison officer, so she'll be a good partner for Aaron in that regard and where we are in our accreditation cycle. She was trained or hired by Teresa Ribness, who used to work here and trained her down there. So we feel pretty good about the training that she's received in curriculum and instruction, very strong in that. Excited as all heck, actually, I think, to move here. She has a family, 3 kids.
I know one.
Oh, we'll turn her on to that. She's going to stay in a condo we rent right now, and it's sort of transitionally, but yeah, so she has 3 kids and they're all coming, and she told me, she came out of her son's 22 and had come back to live at home and had gone back to school down at Upwood Community College where she is, and came out on Tuesday morning after she had interviewed here or whatever, and she was feeling pretty good, I guess, about the interviews before we made her the offer. And he's like, Mom, I got accepted to TBCC, and handed her the email, and yeah, so.
The FTEs that you need.
That's one, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So we're real excited for her to come. She'll actually be on campus Monday doing some paperwork, looking around. And then I think she's going to start end of the month, first of July, right around that time. So at least the move's not huge move, but moves nonetheless, as you all know, take time, whether it's a cross town or cross country. So we're excited for that. Because of that, I really want to devote the time and energy from me and the rest of my team to give her a successful onboarding. I think that's important to ensure her success. As you know, I mentioned I asked Michael Weisenflue, who's been a good friend of the college and a friend and good support for me over the years that I've been here, to step in as an interim VP of instruction, already doing really good work. Appreciate having him around as always. And I think, there's enough transitions happening in instruction right now, and the fact that we've got summer coming, that it's good to have a little bit of stability. Michael brings that, and so I'm fortunate for that. So thank you, Michael. I truly appreciate your support and friendship for sure on that. So we're going to play that one by ear when we kick that one back up. What might make good sense, and unless Michael quits in the next.
Listen to what?
Unless you quit. No, actually. We might have to go to plan D, E, F, whatever we're on now. We had a college council meeting on May 28th. College council's been working on, I believe they may have finalized their charter or sort of working agreements that they have. I've warned them, and I should warn you all as well, that next year we will see a flurry of activity in policies and procedures coming through. So we're really trying to streamline what that looks like. You only see honestly about a third of them. For every board policy that you see, there are 3 or 4 administrative rules usually that go along with that are many pages in length oftentimes. So that takes a lot of work. Yesterday evening, we had our end of the year celebration. So you'll see end of year celebration a few times. This one was for students, right? So this was for student recognition. I was in this room. Wow, good job turning the room around real fast, Jason. I guess I didn't dawn on me like, wow, this did not look like this at 7 o'clock last night. We had, what do you think, maybe 60 students or so that were here, and about that many family members probably. We were at capacity, beyond capacity in this room, out into the hallway there. So we're looking forward to next year when we can have this over in the new facility where we have some good room. But
So the board usually attends those. I didn't hear about that, I don't think.
well, I probably sent out a recognition and a reminder for that. But if not, it could be because I'm trying. So I will take all responsibility. It wasn't Lori's fault or Kylie's fault.
Yeah, I love that last year.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Look, you can just wait in anticipation for 365 days.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
64.
64 days, yes, correct. At that, we had numerous recognitions of students that were on honors list, received scholarships, those that were graduating or receiving a certificate from whether or not they were, again, like we do in graduation, GED, driving certificates, or associate degrees. It was really fun to hear the first student when we line up our graduates and we have them say what they're receiving their degree in. We got to hear Karime. What's Karime's last name?
Ramirez Orozco.
Karime Ramirez Orozco, who's one of our nursing students. She said, "I'm receiving an Associate of Applied Science in Nursing," and so that was really kind of fun to hear that. We recognized two things. I left one off here. We recognized 2 faculty at that event, actually, because the students were there to do it. We recognized Katie Nelson, who is an adjunct instructor with us, who received Teaching Excellence of the Year award, which was really nice as an adjunct. But she's an adjunct like no other adjunct. She is engaged in everything. She served on college council. She tutored for us there. I mean, she's very much part of this family, the TBCC family. And the reason that she wasn't there to accept her award was her family had grown. She had delivered a little baby girl a few days ago. Right? We can have
Wasn't here.
I
could have brought the baby.
Well, we almost took back to. We said must be present to win.
I would say
Yeah, or have a good excuse, but that was good. And the other faculty that we recognized was John Sandusky. John is retiring this year, and John is the right word, anointed faculty emeritus. I don't know what the right word is, but Michael did those honors as a prior emeritus or as a faculty emeritus. John was the third one, correct? Michael and Dr. Bob were the first 2 a few years ago. So that was a lot of fun. Our continued conversations at OPC. The only one that I'll mention is transfer still a mess at the state level, but we'll get through that. I do want to mention budget and what we anticipate for the next biennium. It looks like what is coming through Ways and Means is that most agencies are getting what the state current service level is, which is what was in the governor's recommended budget, which for us, that number that comes out is 854.4. There are some carve outs that come out of that and whatever, but it looks good for us. We budgeted actually a little bit less than that. So that's not really an impact for us next year, although I will say that for most community colleges in the state, they are already talking about reductions in force because of the current budget situation doesn't look like they can support their current staffing levels. Some of them would have had that even if they would have gotten the current service level recommendation from most CAs, so we'll have that. Good news about that too coming out is that you've heard us talk about Benefit Navigator and the funding for that. It looks like that funding is coming through and will make its way through as well. For us, that supports Angelica, who you all know, and she is a remarkable human being who does a lot for this institution. So we would have found a way to keep her on, but we're glad that we continue to have the support from the state to do that.
Thank you, Senator.
Yes, thanks, Senator Weber. And then let's see, June observances. Well, today is National Cheese Day. We do have cheese. I encourage you on the way out to take home pockets full of cheese. Because, oh, come on, you can never have too much.
Cheese is wrapped.
They are, just little, they're little, they're good. Yeah, you don't have to put the cheese slices in your pocket. Wrap it.
Yeah, they're ready.
I was looking through the board packet last year to see what I recognized, and I'm sorry, but I had to just cut and paste what it was again for this time because it feels even more important to draw attention to these two observances now more than ever. Again, that's Pride Month. As you know, this is Pride Month. And it is the month of June because of Stonewall Uprising. And it's really important, I think, to recognize the importance of individuals that identify as LGBTQIA+, the importance that they are to our community, the impact they have had historically, and that we cherish those individuals as part of the TBCC community as well. I also want to draw attention to Juneteenth, June 19th. Again, another population that I feel is increasingly under attack, for lack of a better way to describe it. And that TBCC will recognize and honor Juneteenth on June 19th. That's a Thursday. The college will be closed on that day. And again, just a reminder, that was the day in 1865 when emancipation finally made its way to the state of Texas, where the last 250,000 enslaved individuals were emancipated, despite the fact that it had been over 2 years since the Emancipation Proclamation. So I think it's important to recognize that as a community college, the word community means something to all of us here, and this is important for us to remember. Upcoming dates, well, put this one on your calendar.
Yeah, I think I'm not.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We will have Friday, 3 p.m. I'm sorry, 3:30 ish. We'll start our end of year staff recognition, and following that, we will have a barbecue potluck. Yours truly and Jason and others will be barbecuing and trying to feed our TBCC family. The interesting thing about we will honor at that end of year staff recognition our retirees, in addition to John Sandusky, Sally Jackson, who is a long time financial aid advisor. She also is retiring, so we'll recognize her on that day. There, we also will recognize, but I won't tell you who they are just yet, who our Excellence in Action Award winners are for our exempt employee of the year, so to speak, and our non-exempt employee of the year. Last year, those recognitions went to Claire Sabatka, our librarian, and Nicole Clark, who works in instructional support for us there. So we'll announce those individuals at that particular meeting also. Got one more, graduation, we're all looking forward to. Friday the 13th, what could go wrong? We are looking forward to that event. If you happen to come last year, we had it in the Dairy Barn. I thought, are you kidding? We're having this in the Dairy Barn. I cannot tell you how special that event was.
Yeah.
Great. It was great. It was just awesome. We're doing it there again. You know, we'll have it clean enough. You don't have to worry about wearing boots. We will have it set up, cleaned up, ready to go, and it will look spectacular as it did last year. We had over 600 folks last year. We're anticipating even more than that. We had one student say, we don't give tickets out like we do at a lot of schools. And one student even asked, can I have 20 tickets? We're like, wow, okay. If we don't give out tickets, bring them all. So it should be a big time fun again there. So looking forward to see those of you that can make it, looking forward to that. It's really a good time. There. Our next board meeting will be July 2nd, 2025 at 5 p.m. This is an odd year, so that means we have a board meeting in July. That's where we will swear in new board members and we will seat the new board, and we will probably also make appointments for any committees or liaisons or things like that at that point that you might want to do for board members. And we will get to welcome to the adult table, Pat Ryan. We're looking forward to that one too.
Well, I can act like an adult.
Why start now?
Well,
So a couple kudos and then I'll be done. We've got so many events going on. They couldn't happen without our facilities team, our student services, our advancement teams. All of those have been really critical in that. The event we had last night, Jenny Case in particular, our Director of Opportunity Programs, ran that one. Bailey Butel and Angel Kavanaugh, Kelly Key, and all helped her do those things. Again, thanks to Lori Lund, who has abandoned me, but for good reason. I'm a hard person to work with. Kylie has been really helping out, and so I appreciate you, Kylie. Thank you for helping out with that. And Sherry Montazeri in the budget office for business office for all the work of the budget book. We'll get it to the county in time. So that chair is moving forward.
thank you. I think you have previously invited us to your pinning ceremony. You want to talk about that?
I sure I will. So our nurses, one of the traditions for registered nursing program, or any nursing program, is upon graduation or finishing the program, they have a pinning ceremony where they have pins that are branded with, school logos and things. And that pinning ceremony for us is Wednesday, next week. So a week from tonight. Jason or Britta, do you know the time?
It's 5:30 to 7:30.
5:30 to 7:30.
I'll tell you right now.
I know, that sounds right. It's in the evening, 5:30. It's in this room.
Yep.
We have, I believe, 14 nursing graduates and their family, and I suspect we will have a full house here for that as well.
We will also be streaming that, if
Oh,
you're unable
nice.
to attend in
great.
person.
Good.
So, yeah,
That's good.
I believe so, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna figure it out.
Isn't this our first graduating
Oh,
class?
it is.
It
It
is.
is. I mean, we are, I can't believe it. And the individuals who were here the other day that to talk about the nursing program and allied health programs, they are pretty proud. They were floating around this morning, kind of feeling good about the work that they had done. So they should be proud. It's a good crowd.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a good students. I think that helped them turn out some really good students.
Wonderful. I'll just remind you and Andrea that I cannot be here for the July 2nd board meeting.
Correct.
You won't be here for the July meeting.
Second board. Okay. All right.
Can I just say one little thing? I don't wanna,
Mhm.
bring it. This is showing up at the NCRD. And speaking of Pride Month,
Yes.
one of the big focuses in this is LGBTQ rights and lives. And it's called Sorted Lives, and it is for adults. It's a comedy. It's definitely a comedy. But it's more of a dark comedy.
Riverbend players.
Riverbend players.
Are you
and
in it?
I just happen to be in it.
Okay.
Could you give us a line?
One of my lines, oh my God, oh.
Not nasty.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is being out there on the internet somewhere, so.
Well, I can't even just think of one. Oh, yeah. Okay, this takes place in South Texas. So, I say, I made a rooster out of lentils and beans when I was a girl at vacation Bible school. It was almost lifelike. So I gotta tell you, I play a woman who kind of hangs around the bar. Just to give you an idea of my mindset in the education world.
Beer bottle in your hand so much.
That's true. I carried that around.
Yes, you did.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, any other board member discussion items?
I have one,
Yes, please.
just a question. What time do the board members need to show up on the graduation day?
Rhoda?
We would like you there at 5 o'clock, and we have some gowns if you'd like to gown up. You're not required to, but we purchased some black gowns and stoles and things if you want. So
Nice.
if you're interested, if you let us know your height, we'll have them set, the right one set aside and steamed. Great.
Very nice.
Yes.
Should we tell you right this minute?
Yes, let me grab a pen.
And you don't have to collect all that information.
Yes, I can do
I
that.
got the one size fits all one.
Yes,
I'm 5'5".
okay. 5, 2, 1 or 2. In heels. Okay. Are you coming, Betsy?
I would love to, but that's
She's
what
You're
performing.
playing, that's
I'm in
fine.
the production, yeah.
How about you, Mary? Hi.
5'4".
Perfect. Thank you.
And Suzanne, are you able to come to graduation?
At this point in time, I think I can.
Fabulous.
But if we have to be on the floor on the 13th, we were supposed to be on the floor this Friday. But they decided they may wait until next week to do on the floor and in the evening. So if they do, I won't be there.
Okay, all right.
So can you tell me your height so we can get one ready in case?
5'2".
Okay, perfect.
5'2".
And so we just need to stand.
Shannon, 5'3". I don't know.
No, that's
You're not here, we guess, right?
Where was it? 6 feet?
That was like, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for getting Rome.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yes.
Okay, anything else? Board concerns? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move.
And I second that move.
Okay, all
Wow.
in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned at 6:27. Thank you, everyone.